talk about stress and anxiety, and who doesn't have some of that these days, right? Um, I'm going to start by giving the typical disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I don't have a degree in sociology or psychology, although I'm married to one, so I have a little bit of experience. But I'm not here to diagnose, treat, prescribe, or cure anything. I'm going to talk about my story and my story alone, and some things that I've tried that have worked for me. And I'm just going to encourage you to do your research and take notes if you want. Ask questions. You can ask me questions after we're finished. I'm going to probably go through stuff super fast because all day long I kept adding little nuggets that I would hear or read or see. So I have a lot of stuff going on. But I'm going to start by giving you some definitions. So this is from the book called Stress-Free Sense, and I will post a list in the event of the resources that I have. Some of them I'm using for this talk tonight. Some of them are just resources that I have in my arsenal, but things that I have found very useful. So this definition was paraphrased from Stress-Free Sense. So although stress and anxiety share many of the same emotional and physical symptoms, uneasiness, tension, headaches, high blood pressure, and loss of sleep, they have very different beginnings. Generally, stress is a response to an external cause. Stress will usually subside after an issue is resolved. Anxiety is typically characterized by a persistent feeling of apprehension or dread in situations that are not actually threatening. And anxiety can persist even after a concern has passed. Stress can be helpful. It helps us meet deadlines. It helps us sometimes, the fight or flight will help us maintain our safety or the safety of those we care about. But it can have a negative impact as well. I think I read one time that over 90% of illnesses and diseases are traced back to stress. So it certainly has its negative impact on us. Anxiety is also a sustained mental health disorder, and again, does not diminish when the threat is mediated. It can hang around for the long haul and can cause great disruptions to our lives. While I was able to manage my anxiety through some of the options I'll share with you tonight, please know again that this is my story, and you may need to see a doctor or a mental health professional if the depression, the anxiety, or the stress-related symptoms are not manageable. Don't be afraid to seek help for sure. So I'll just give you a little quick background of my story. I came to Young Living about 7 years ago. I went to a class, just a basics class on the premium starter kit. And I had always been curious and dabbled in natural options and holistic ideas, but I had never really pursued any education or done any personal research or anything like that. But as some of you, if you're a member of Young Living, most of you know, when you join this kooky bunch of people, you do start to hear things and learn of things and experience things that makes lights go off. And that's what happened to me. So I was taking medication for anxiety and depression, and I was taking some other medications too for acid reflux or GERD, and which now I know was partly caused by the stress in my life. And I was taking medications that were very ineffective for migraines, which I've also discovered have been alleviated as I've learned to manage my stress and anxiety. So I'm going to share with you some of the things I've learned and the things that I have implemented in my own life. Know this, I don't do anything perfectly. I don't do anything consistently. I am certainly a work in progress, but these are things that I found helpful. So I have divided it into, I have notes because otherwise I'd talk your ear off, I'd ramble for hours and you'd all go to sleep on me. So I have about 4 or 5 main points. So the first one is, and before I say that, I'm going to share with you some of the oils and Young Living products that I use. but know that I am touching the surface of what is available. These are just some things that have been helpful for me. Places you can start. I'm always grateful when someone says, hey, maybe this is what works for me. Why don't you give this a try? And it's a starting place, because y'all know we have a lot to offer in Young Living. So let's start by talking about diet and water, everybody's favorite topic. What I have found, and I'm certainly all of you are aware of because we live in America and we hear it every day, is sugar is poison. Junk food, processed foods, food additives can all have major impact on our hormones and our health and our bodies. And so we have to make good choices with that. So I really have worked hard to eliminate sugar. And I say that after I just had a birthday and was given delicious chocolate, and I ate it like it was my job. So I'm in the process of once again weaning myself off that great love of a lot of sugar. But I do try to stay away from sugar. I've found that it fogs up my brain. It makes me sluggish. It makes me not feel good. Junk foods, additives have negative effects on can stir up the old migraines. So I'm very careful about that. And we know too that sugar and the additives can have huge impact on our hormones, and the hormones have a great impact on our emotions. So those, watch your dietary things, and make sure you're drinking enough water. We are 70% water, and that means we have to drink a lot of it. And for most of us, probably more than we do. It is recommended that we drink half our body weight in ounces or more. So if you drink coffee, you should drink more. If you exercise, you should drink more. If you're stressed, you should drink more. And I follow Dr. Peter Minke, who says that you should start your day with 24 ounces. The first thing, as soon as you get up, 24 ounces of filtered, unflavored water. Your body needs to wake up, your organs need to get started again. And I've found that as I've implemented that, and if you haven't ever done that before, you might want to start slowly, because 24 ounces chugged first thing in the morning can be a shock to a very sleepy system. But I found that if I am faithful and start my day that way, it's a lot easier to get all those ounces in, and I shoot for a gallon a day. So supplements and oils that can help. If you haven't tried the Vitality Drops, make sure they're on your next order. I love those things. They are super tasty. They have really helped curb my cravings for sweet things in the afternoon when I tend to hit a slump and want to go after it. So I would encourage you to try the Vitality Drops. The Vitality oils can all be added to food and water. They're labeled GRAS, so they're safe to ingest. Ningxia, if you haven't tried Ningxia, talk to your sponsor or your leader, or if you don't have a sponsor or leader, get in touch with me or Jen. We'd love to give you a sample of Ningxia Red. I like to drink Ningxia Red in the afternoon when I hit a slump with Ningxia Nitro and Sulfurzyme, and my favorite Vitality oil in that is tangerine. Ningxia is made from the wolfberry superfruit and has lots of other great fruits in it. It's a super awesome nutritional supplement, and it also is full of antioxidants. So great for your system. And in order to have a healthy mind, we have to have a healthy body as well. Okay, so number 2, and that doesn't seem highly related to stress, but I just think that anytime we're talking about things that are going wrong, we have to talk about the fundamentals. And I am a big proponent on making sure that people start by drinking enough water. You can pour all the oils into your body that you want. You can take all the supplements. If you are dehydrated, you are not well. So I really encourage you to take a look at your water. Okay, number 2, sleep. It looks like most of the people that are here right now are women, and can we get a what for sleep is sometimes so elusive. So How much sleep do you get every night? Nothing robs a good night of sleep like stress, and nothing stirs more stress for me than a crappy night's sleep. So some things that I've done to help me, I work to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. I know that seems like a lot, and for some of you that may be more than you need. That's certainly personal, but I find that I need a good amount of sleep. Partly because my sleep is a little disruptive, and so I have to shoot for a lot of hours to get adequate amount of sleep. So some things that can help with that: a regular bedtime and a regular getting up time. If you have little kids, if you're working a high energy job, if you have a just a busy lifestyle, that might be easier said than done. But I found that in order for me to get adequate sleep, it's really important that I maintain a good schedule. Turn off the technology. I was convicted today, as I've been preparing for this over the last week or so, that technology is probably one of the greatest inducers of stress in my life right now. There's way too much information out there that is stressful. There's way too much unkindness in social media and online. And so I'm going to work very hard to step away from the social media in order to help calm some of the stress and anxiety that I'm wrestling with. But another important piece of that is to turn off the technology. I think the standard suggestion is at least 30 minutes before you go to bed, because the blue light and just the material can cause stress and disrupt our sleep. So some supplements and oils for you to try. My most favorite supplement is Sleep Essence. I don't take it every day. I take it if I've missed a couple of nights sleep in a row, I will take a couple Sleep Essence to help reset and hopefully fall asleep a little faster and stay asleep a little more consistently through the night. Sleep Essence it's a little gel cap. It's vegetarian, it's easy, it slides down easily. It has lavender, vetiver, valerian, and ruta essential oils along with melatonin. So if you don't have Sleep Essence, those are some great oils to try. And we know that melatonin is also a great sleep aid. It's a natural way to help your body wind down so that you can shoot for a good night's sleep. Some other oils to try would be lavender, Roman chamomile, cedarwood. A lot of people love cedarwood. My personal experience with cedarwood is it's a great sleep aid, but the first few nights I used it, I had very weird dreams. So I've heard other people say that as well. So that's just a little nugget of information. If you're going to try cedarwood, it might make your dreams weird. If you haven't tried the new Seedlings Calm oil, oh, that one is a gem for I love that one in my diffuser by my bed at night. And the Seedlings line has sleepy eyes in it, and that one is great too. So even though it's labeled for children, it can be very, very wonderful for us as grown-ups too. One of my favorite nighttime oils is RC. I think I snore. Shh, don't tell anybody. And RC helps with that. So in light of that, one of the things that I learned is that application can make a difference. While a lot of people put RC or lavender or any of those oils on their, put it on your chest or put it in your hands and inhale it. If you haven't inhaled oils today, are you really an oiler? Somebody posted that, so I thought that was cute. For me, most of the sleep oils work best in my diffuser. So while I might put some on, I happen to be one of the 6 people on the planet that love the smell of rutabaga. So I will put that one on my wrists so I can smell it while I fall asleep. But RC or cedarwood or sleepy eyes or any of those other oils, I will put in my diffuser because that happens to work the best for me. So experiment with it. if you're feeling anxious, if you're not calming down, try smelling the oils in your hand. You know, do you know how to do that? A few drops in your hand, rub it clockwise 3 times to activate it, cup it over your mouth and your nose, and just breathe deeply. And deep breathing can be an effective tool to combat stress as well. So we can also take some of the oils internally and again in our diffuser. So experiment with what works best for you. Okay, the third way that I have found a lot of help in calming down my stress and anxiety is exercise. Everybody's favorite word, right? Most generally, if you can get 20 minutes of deliberate physical movement every day, you are going to see a great benefit. 20 minutes. I will be able to find that as I lay down the social media. I'm just saying. So today, after I fine-tuned this this class and I had some errands to run, I was feeling super anxious, and it was a beautiful day today, so I went for a walk with my dog, and it made a huge difference. So exercise, movement, being outside if you can, fresh air is hugely helpful for me. Sometimes even on a cold day, I'll just bundle up and go stand on my porch for a little while and just breathe deeply, breathe in that cool, fresh air, and just close my eyes and just think about calming down. So we all know that physical exercise and movement's great for our bodies, but it is also hugely beneficial to our mental health. So get off the couch once in a while. I'm just speaking to myself right now. Get back to the gym. So some supplements and oils that might help. Multigreens. Multigreens is a supplement. It comes in a little capsule. It's a nutritious chlorophyll formula designed to boost vitality, working with our glandular, nervous, and circulatory systems. And I do not take multigreens right at this time, but I have found, and I know others have found, that taking multigreens on a regular basis really helps to increase their energy level throughout the day. So Ningxia, again, great for sustained energy. And while Ningxia Nitro, which is an additional supplement in our Ningxia line, is promoted as a supplement for mental clarity, it also, I find, gives me a little boost of energy. One of the things that I struggle with when the anxiety and the stress hits is I get very depressed. I get sad. I want to go to bed. I want to snuggle in. It just all seems like too much. So the exercise and these supplements and Ningxia can help me stay in the game. I got to stay in the game. Sometimes for me, it's a matter of just muscling through the game. So a couple of oils that I love to use on those days is energy or peppermint. And energy isn't my favorite one to smell, so I will often put that one on my feet or behind my knees. But I do love peppermint, and so I will smell it, or I'll get my peppermint vitality out and I'll put a couple of drops on my tongue, and that really helps boost my cognitive clarity and helps get my brain reactivated again. Okay, so number 4 is meditation, prayers, and affirmation. Our words and our thoughts have significant power. We are created in the image of God, who used words to speak the entire universe into being. There's strength and power in what we say and think to ourselves. We most often cannot control our circumstances, but we certainly do have power over how we respond. I was talking about this whole being stressed and the burden of that with a friend recently, and she gave me this visual. As believers, we have been lifted and freed from the bondage of of depression, from the bondage of sin, from the bondage of sickness, because Jesus took it to the cross for us. And as believers, we're free in that. So she said, when the anxiety or the depression or the fear or the sadness or the stress starts to take over and she feels like she cannot stand anymore, she thinks of it as a mantle laying over her shoulders. And she grabs it and she throws it off and reminds herself that this isn't hers to wear anymore. That Jesus is wearing it for her. So if you're not a believer, I still think that you can take advantage of that visual. It feels oppressive for me. The stress feels oppressive. I can't breathe. I can't stand up straight. I can't think clearly. But if I think of it as a mantle or a heavy blanket over my shoulders, I can throw that off and claim victory over it. It's not mine to carry. And I just think anytime you can come up with things that visually or vocally you can speak truth over yourself, don't lose sight of the power of your words and your thoughts. I will have some, there's a couple of resources that I'll have in the list about that, about conscious language, taking your thoughts captive, control over your thoughts, the power of our thoughts and our words over our lives and our bodies. It's called Conscious Language. It's by Robert Tennyson Stevens. So you can look for those at the end. Supplements and oils. Oh my gosh. Here's the thing. When I started with Young Living and people started telling me that I could use oils for, to change my emotions and to change my thoughts, I thought that I had joined a hippie cult, that these people were crazy and seriously. But the Bible says that God gave the oil of joy to the Israelites, not because their feet were sore from tromping through the desert, but because they needed a change of attitude. And he told them to anoint themselves. And so there are so many oils that I find can be so beneficial in helping me lift my spirits, lift my moods. I'm sure if I asked each of you which ones work for you, you would each have a list, a different list. So I'm just going to throw out a few that have been very helpful for me. The first one, my favorite go-to, my hands down, if I don't know what to do, I always grab my frankincense. If I don't have the energy to look it up, if I don't have my resources with me, I grab my frankincense every time. Frankincense to me is so grounding and yet empowering. It calms me, it focuses me. I love to anoint myself with it as I pray or speak affirmations over myself. I find frankincense to be my number one. But there's so many others: hope, joy, valor, courage in a bottle. How many times is stress and anxiety just buried in fear and the emotions of that? Grab your valor. And I like to roll that on my brainstem. Lemon, grapefruit, the citrus oils, very high in D-limonene. We know that stress has a huge impact on our physical health. And those high in D-limonene oils help detox those free radicals and help remove those from our bodies so that we aren't burdened with those as well. And I think probably one of the most powerful things is gratitude. It's really hard to be upset or depressed or buried in the emotions and the fear if you stop and practice some gratitude. And we have an oil for that too. We actually have an oil called gratitude. So I encourage you. I was listening to a podcast today and he talked about every day, even on the worst days, he makes sure to write down 3 things he's grateful for. And that can be a game changer. Give me a second. I got to take a drink. I'm going to suggest 2 supplements. One is cortisol. So the stress in our bodies stirs a hormone called cortisol, and cortisol can have significant negative effects on our weight, on our sleep, and on our cardiovascular system. Cortisol is sort of the fight or flight hormone, But when you have ongoing stress or ongoing anxiety, those cortisol levels have a tendency to stay very high. Cortisol helps maintain our natural balance and harmony. So I don't take it all the time. I take it for a season. So I'll take it for a few weeks at a time every night before I go to bed. And especially if I've been in a season where I have been struggling to stay on top of my emotions, or I've been in a high stress situation, deadlines or upcoming events can sometimes stir that for people. So cortisol is a wonderful supplement that you can take. And the other one is Life 9. So Life 9 is our probiotic. Our gut is our second brain. Think about it. Gut, we have a gut feeling. We get butterflies in our stomach. Our gut is directly connected to our brain and our emotions. Life 9 is full of wonderful probiotics and healthy bacteria that can help promote healthy digestion, a healthy gut, and a healthy immune system. And aren't we all working very hard to have a healthy immune system right now? I want to leave this section with this. 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5 from my favorite version of the Bible right now is called The Voice. And it says this: we are demolishing arguments and ideas, every high and mighty philosophy that pits itself against the knowledge of the one true God. And here's my favorite part. We are taking prisoners of every thought, every emotion, and subduing them into obedience to the Anointed One. So we have the power in us to take our thoughts and our emotions captive. And like I said earlier, we cannot control the circumstances, but we can work really hard and use the tools we have to help control and manage our response to those same circumstances. I said earlier, I'm a work in progress. It's a daily walk for me. There are days when it all gets the most of me, but we are gifted with a new start every morning and a new start every moment. So be patient with yourself. This is a quote from Stephen Covey. He said, be patient with yourself. Self-growth is tender. It's holy ground. There is no greater investment. So a couple of other things that have been really helpful for me and beneficial for me. One of them is music. Music speaks to the really deep parts of my soul. I love soft rock. I love jazz. I love Christian music. But music can be a game changer for me. It can help me pause and be in the moment and take a deep breath and lay things down. All just behaviors that can help to minimize the stress. Be present. Be present. You know, we are a culture that celebrates the hustle. We celebrate the busyness. We celebrate the multitasking. And I believe that those are lies of the enemy to keep us distracted from this moment, because this is the only one we get, is this here and now. We are not promised tomorrow. How much time do we spend worrying about tomorrow? So be present. Take a minute. I know I see that my friend Sadie is on this call, and Sadie posted the other day about that very thing, how she had a whole agenda of things she wanted to accomplish, and her family wanted to put the Christmas tree up. And while she didn't necessarily start that process with joy, she remembered that it is those moments that matter, and she leaned into it. And she didn't miss anything. She didn't miss the struggle, hi friend. She didn't miss the chaos, and the hustle was still waiting for her when she was done. But the moment that she spent with her family was priceless. And I think we lose sight of that often, and that can really steal the joy and stir up the stress and anxiety. Those to-do lists, while I have to have them to keep me focused, can also become a great source of anxiety if we don't build in the margin that we need to be present with the people and the circumstances that we are gifted with right in front of us. So think about the activities and the moments that bring you joy. Some other products that I love to use and I found very helpful, and I'm only going to list a few of them because seriously, we could be here all night. The release oils. I happen to be blessed enough to have a bottle of Divine Release. For me, I use this when it's all piled up. And I have to use this one at home because often it causes a great emotional release for me, which is very freeing, but it's never pretty. So I use this one at home in the quiet of my own space to help just purge some of those places. There's a kit called the Feelings Kit. And if you Google it, you can find our founder, Gary Young's Good Day Protocol using those oils. And he talks about how that can help reset your energy to be more positive, to help you give you the best boost and the best frequencies to stir joy and helping or calmness and all the emotions that we want to experience during the day. So the Feelings Kit is one. The Raindrop Kit. If you've not ever had a raindrop massage, I really encourage you to look into that. There are several people in our area that do them, and I can hook you up with the name of one or two therapists that do the raindrop technique. While it was created and is presented in a way to promote physical healing, I have often gone to have a raindrop massage when I needed some emotional support. And then you can modify some of the oils in that kit to directly speak to some of the emotions that you need to wrestle with. So that's a great one. And our CBD products. If you haven't done any research or looking into the benefits of CBD, I highly encourage that. CBD can be very calming for me. It's one of the oils or the supplements. How do I present that? The liquid, while it is stated that you use it topically, sublingually is a topic application. So I put it under my tongue sublingually. And I find that, and my daughter does too. I blessed her with some of my sweet anxiety. We both find that CBD under our tongue is really helpful for bringing on that calming, the calming feelings and lowering the stress, helping us to take the deep breath, helping us to slow down, helping us to remember that these are feelings and they are probably lying to us, because feelings are big fat liars. If they weren't, we wouldn't cry at sad movies, right? Because our feelings lie. So the CBD is really great. So there you go. I ran a few minutes over, but these are just a few of the things that have been very helpful for me. I'll post a list of my resources. I think I have like 12 here that have been really helpful for me. And if you're in the area and you don't have these and you want to borrow them, let's talk and I can hook you up and you can borrow. I love lending out my resources so that people can try them out and read them. So thanks for coming. Before you go, I'd love to offer you this prayer. This is from Ephesians 3. It's verses 16 to 19. Father, out of your honorable and glorious riches, strengthen your people. Fill their souls with the power of your Spirit, so that through faith, the anointed one will reside in their hearts. May love be the rich soil where their lives take root. May it be the bedrock where their lives are founded, so that together with all of your people, they will have the power to understand that the love of the anointed is infinitely long, wide, high, and deep, surpassing everything anyone previously experienced. God, may your fullness flood through their entire beings. Amen. Thanks for coming, everybody. If you are not a member of Young Living and you don't have a sponsor, if you came to this just out of the blue, if you saw it posted, please contact Jen or I. We would love to talk to you more about the products that I talked about tonight. If you were invited by someone, please contact them, because they most likely have access to all this information and can share with you the best course of action to get your hands on some of the products that we talked about. If you have questions, if you want to talk, just send me a message. You can find me in the event. My name is Sandi with an I, Rund. And you can look me up on Facebook and send me a private message, and I'll be glad to chat with you. And if you do want to see the resources, just let me know, and I'd be glad to lend them to you. Jen, did you have anything else you wanted to share?
Just thank you, Sandi. Many of us know Sandi in person, so it's nice to get together in this way. And so thank you, Sandi. We appreciate it. And did think of a couple things. Sandi, how did you did you say you had a list of resources?
I do. I will post them in the event.
Oh, perfect.
I'll do a post in the event, and I'll just list these resources.
Great, thank you. And if Monday night, Angel did a great presentation on CBD oil, and that is in the DW Oil Hub, and there was a recording of it. So I would encourage you, if you want to learn more about CBD, that's an easy way to do that. And many of you may be thinking, okay, this is a lot of stuff I don't know. Go back to what you have. You have premium starter kit oils. Lavender is a great one. Sandi did a great job talking about frankincense. That's in your Valor. So you have
lemon.
Yes, lemon. So you have many of them, and maybe think of one you want to add to your Essential Rewards next month. But you definitely
stress
have some.
Away.
Yes, stress
Don't
away.
Don't forget your stress away. I don't know where my camera is. Oh, there it is.
I know. And
stress
with that,
away.
Yes, great.
Saves lives.
It does.